Hello everyone, and welcome back to Travel Destinations Cinematic, the channel where we count down the world's most beautiful destinations in stunning cinematic style. Today, we have another top 10 for you. We are heading to a country of ancient civilizations, legendary mountain ranges, and landscapes so dramatic they almost seem impossible. Let's go! Welcome back. Pakistan, a country that most travelers have never considered, and that every traveler who goes returns from completely transformed. It is a country where 5 of the world's 14 8,000ers rise from a single mountain range, where the Karakoram and the Himalayas and the Hindu Kush meet in a tangle of ice and rock and sky that has no equal anywhere on Earth. Where one of the oldest civilizations ever discovered, Mohenjo-daro, lies in the southern desert, its brick streets and drainage systems laid out with extraordinary precision 5,000 years ago. Where the ancient Silk Road once carried the trade of the known world through mountain passes of breathtaking beauty. This is our personal top 10 of the most beautiful destinations in Pakistan. We would love to hear your favorites in the comments. Sit back, make yourself some chai, and enjoy the show. Starting at number 10, Lahore, a Mughal city of grandeur, where some of the greatest architectural achievements of the Islamic world stand in gardens of beauty. The Badshahi Mosque, completed in 1673, was for centuries the largest mosque on earth. Its red sandstone courtyard capable of holding 60,000 worshippers. Across the road, the Lahore Fort contains within its walls 1,000 years of layered history. From early Muslim rulers to the full flowering of Mughal imperial ambition, the old walled city, its narrow lanes packed with shrines and havelis, and the smoke of food stalls that have operated for centuries, is one of the most atmospheric urban environments in Asia. And at dusk, Lahore has a quality of beauty and of history that is impossible to forget. At number 9, Deosai is one of the most extraordinary high-altitude plateaus on Earth. Lying at an average elevation of 4,114 meters, Deosai is the second highest plateau in the world, a vast rolling landscape of alpine meadows, crystal rivers, and wildflower fields stretching across an area of 5,000 square kilometers between Skardu and Astor. In summer, when the snow melts and the plateau comes briefly alive, it transforms into one of the greatest wildflower displays on the planet. It is also one of the last refuges of the Himalayan brown bear. And at night, at over 4,000 meters, with no light pollution for hundreds of kilometers in any direction, the Milky Way appears so bright and so close that the sky seems to press down upon the Earth. At number 8, Fairy Meadows, a green alpine meadow at 3,300 meters in Gilgit-Baltistan, from which the north face of Nanga Parbat, the 9th highest mountain in the world, at 8,126 meters, rises in an almost vertical wall of rock and ice directly from the valley floor. The mountain rises over 5,000 meters above the meadow, one of the greatest vertical reliefs anywhere on the planet. At dawn, when the first light catches the summit pyramid of Nanga Parbat and the ice cliffs turn from deep blue to brilliant gold, Fairy Meadows delivers one of the most extraordinary mountain views on Earth. The local name for Nanga Parbat is Diamir, King of Mountains. Standing in the meadow below it, you understand why. At number 7, the Swat Valley has been called the Switzerland of the East, and while that comparison flatters Switzerland, it gives some sense of the extraordinary green lushness of this Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Valley that stretches for over 150 kilometers through the foothills of the Hindu Kush. The Swat River runs the length of the valley, cold and fast and brilliant turquoise, through a landscape of terraced fields, orchards, and villages of carved wooden architecture. In spring, the cherry and plum orchards turn the valley walls pink and white. In summer, the forests above the valley floor are a deep, almost improbable green. And the archaeological sites of the ancient Gandhara civilization give Swat a depth of history that adds extraordinary richness to its natural beauty. At number 6, Skardu is the gateway to the highest mountains on Earth, a high desert valley at 2,500 meters in Gilgit-Baltistan, surrounded by the peaks of the Karakoram, from which expeditions set out for K2, Broad Peak, and the Gasherbrums. But Skardu is not merely a staging post for mountaineers. The valley itself, wide and flat and ringed by peaks of 4,000 and 5,000 meters, has a grandeur and a beauty entirely its own. Shangri-La Resort, also known as Lower Kachura Lake, sits in a bowl of the mountains above the valley, a mirror-still lake reflecting the Karakoram peaks above. And the ancient Skardu Fort, perched on a rock above the city, has watched the Silk Road traders and the armies and the mountaineers pass through this valley for centuries. At number 5. Two destinations that represent the extraordinary range of Pakistan, separated by 2,000 kilometers, united by the sense of wonder they produce in every visitor. Mohenjo-daro, in the Sindh desert of southern Pakistan, is one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. One of the first cities ever built by human beings, constructed around 2500 BC, its brick streets and drainage systems and granaries laid out with a sophistication and a precision that was not matched in Europe for 2,000 years. A UNESCO World Heritage Site now slowly being reclaimed by the desert, Mohenjo-daro carries the weight of 5,000 years of human history in its silent brick walls. One of the most surreal landscapes Pakistan has to offer. At number 4, the Makran Coastal Highway is one of the great drives of the world. 653 kilometers of coastal road running along the Arabian Sea from Karachi to the Iranian border through one of the most remote and dramatic coastlines on Earth. The Makran coast is a landscape unlike anywhere else in Pakistan, a world of towering sea cliffs, vast empty beaches of golden sand, mud volcanoes, and rock formations of extraordinary geometry. Kund Malir, often called the most beautiful beach in Pakistan, is a wide bay of golden sand backed by dramatic reddish cliffs that drop directly to the water. And at Ormara and Pasni, the fishing villages of the Baloch coast, the Arabian Sea fishermen still work the same inshore waters their ancestors have fished for centuries. At number 3, the Karakoram Highway. 1,300 kilometers of paved road running from Islamabad in Pakistan to Kashgar in China, crossing the Khunjerab Pass at 4,693 meters, the highest paved international border crossing in the world. Built over 20 years by Pakistani and Chinese engineers and laborers, it follows the ancient Silk Road through some of the most dramatic mountain terrain on Earth. The road runs beside the Indus River, through gorges so deep and so sheer that the sky is a narrow strip of blue above. It passes below Rakaposhi, so close that the entire 7,788-meter peak fills the horizon. It crosses the Hunza River on bridges above 1,000-meter drops. And at the Khunjerab Pass, the road ends at the border of China, and the sky seems close enough to touch. At number 2. Islamabad is unlike any other capital city in Asia. It is consistently ranked among the most beautiful capital cities in the world. The Faisal Mosque, completed in 1986 and designed by Turkish architect Vedat Daloke in the form of a Bedouin tent beneath the Margala Hills, is one of the great works of 20th century Islamic architecture. A building of geometric boldness set against a backdrop of forest and mountain. The Margala Hills themselves are laced with hiking trails that take you from the city streets to forested ridges with views of the entire capital and, on clear days, the distant peaks of the Himalayan foothills. Islamabad is a city that earns its reputation, clean, green, and set against one of the most dramatic natural backdrops of any capital on Earth. At our number 1, the Hunza Valley. A place where the mountains are so high and so close that they do not form a horizon but a wall of ice and rock and snow that rises on every side to peaks of 6, 7, and 8,000 meters, enclosing the valley in a world of visual drama and human warmth. The ancient settlement of Baltit, its fort watching over the valley for 7 centuries from a rock above the old town, is one of the finest examples of mountain architecture in Asia. The apricot orchards of Hunza are legendary, but the photographs do not prepare you for the reality of standing inside it. At night, in a valley with almost no light pollution, surrounded on all sides by the highest mountains in the world, the stars of the Karakoram sky are something that travelers who have seen them carry for the rest of their lives. Hunza is not merely a destination, it is an experience of beauty and altitude and ancient mountain culture. Our number one. And that is our personal top 10 of the most beautiful destinations in Pakistan. A country of ancient wonders, legendary mountains, and landscapes that the world has barely begun to discover. Did our number one surprise you? Drop your pick in the comments below. A thumbs up really helps the channel grow, and subscribe so you never miss a new video from Travel Destinations Cinematic. Until next time, Khuda Hafiz. Safe travels, everyone.